All right, thank you for coming to the Virtually Awful Concours de Le Monde's Best Back Seat competition. And boy, this is a hotly contested class. Would like to thank our sponsors, Hagerty, Classic Motorsports Magazine, eBay Motors, and Griot's Garage for making this entire debacle possible. And also like to thank our chief judge who put in literally minutes of preparation for this whole thing, Tim Suddard from Classic Motorsports Magazine. How you doing, Tim?
Doing great. I think it was seconds, not minutes, but I'll go with that.
That's probably all this deserves. Also with us today as an esteemed judge for this fantastic class is Chris Brewer from Amelia Island Concours, indeed, and also with us and resplendent in his plaid jacket is Brad Phillips, automotive bon vivant from Hagerty. How are you doing today, Brad?
I'm doing great. I wore my finest Herb Tarlick just for you, you know.
Indeed, fitting for the occasion. And without further ado, let's get into picking the best back seat from all the entries. There were quite a few entries, and you guys sifted through them and have some ideas on where you want to go with this. But I think we should take a look at a few. Are you guys ready for that?
Sounds great.
Okay, let's take a peek. I think first up, we need to look at and just ogle in the amazingness of these two cars. These were bought brand new off the showroom floor together by the same person in 1976. They brought home all this yellow and all this this back seat with this station wagon. I mean, who doesn't remember sitting in the back seat of one of these in the tail gunner position, looking out back, making faces at the cars behind you? Next on the docket is a pretty unique car, one we didn't see here in the United States. It is a Cedric wagon. This comes to us from our folks, fine friends in Australia, and this has a really unique feature to it. In the back, what is our driver's side, the passenger side, you see the keyhole in the quarter panel there. Yes. If you put the key in and turn it, that passenger window rolls down so you could reach in to grab stuff directly out of the back if lifting the tailgate was just too much of a hassle.
You know, if that was a good feature, it would have caught on with other manufacturers.
Well, now we have a fine back seat in this, you know, limousine with it's been used well by seemingly space aliens. I don't know.
No, I remember reading about this beautiful vehicle. It's got quite a backstory. I think if folks haven't gone on the website to look, I think they'd be entertained by this one.
Well, I'm pretty sure everybody in this picture fit in the back of that car. So this car is a movie star. It appeared in The Walking Dead. It is a hearse, and you probably don't want to be in the back seat of this one. The 1978 Mercury Marquis, and look at that interior.
Yeah, that is something, I have to say.
This has been one of my favorites, and I think I've seen this one at one of the actual in-person events.
This showed up at the Amelia Island Concours de Le Monde's, which is the main attraction on Amelia Island during the weekend. There's this other little show that goes on over on a golf course somewhere, but this is the important one, you know. So moving on to another consideration is this fine Chrysler pillarless four-door. It comes to us from our friends in Down Under in Australia. Now, riding in the back seat of this with all the windows down, you've got to be cruising like a king in this car. But tell us about your very special car that has a very special back seat in it.
Yeah, so I have a 1992 Toyota Century, and it's a diplomat car. So it's not really a limo. They had a stretched version that had another couple of feet grafted into the middle of it. So, but this is a really neat car, and I took it to Lemons in Monterey in 2018, and we drove it. My friend Tom and I drove it from Maryland, 3,000 miles to Monterey, and we went to Bonneville, drove around in the Salt, which is a great idea if you want to preserve a car for the rest of its existence. It's not really a great idea. And we just had an awesome time with this thing. So the seats, the middle section folds down so your passenger can put their feet through. And we drove like this literally for 3,000 miles, just enjoying the scenery and hitting the back roads. So it was super, super cool. Really enjoyed doing it. And that thing has been all over the country. And yes, it won its class that year. So it has been removed from contention for any other events.
Well, thank you for bringing that to the show. And it's, what better back seat is there than being able to put your legs through into the front seat? That's pretty cool. Now, y'all researched some cars. Y'all have some picks as well. What stood out in your mind for the best back seat?
Chris, you take the first one. I got to give it to you.
All right. I kind of fell in love with the 1977 Checker taxi cab. Surge Cab 22 presented it. Just sort of worked for me. I think the color of it, the story behind it, that it was painted for Surge by Coca-Cola. We all know that Surge is a delicious, sugary, caffeinated citrus drink, which works perfect for the lemons theme. So this car really grabbed me. It just worked.
And Brad, what stood out in your mind?
I did not disagree with the Checker taxi cab, but there were two that I loved. One you showed a picture of earlier, that red velour Mercury. Oh my God, how could you not love it? But I have to say, there was a 77 Make America Gremlin Again vehicle that was the unholy grafting, I think, of a Gremlin and an Excalibur, if I'm not terribly mistaken, which it makes exactly the right amount of sense for a Concours like this. And I thought it was just awesome.
That is an awesome car. That actually has taken home our most esteemed worst of show trophy from our California show. So that kind of eliminates it from worst of show again. It could be considered for best back seat, but I'm not sure it even has a back seat. I'm not sure it has much of anything, actually.
Well, in a car like that, you want to be able to roll around on a bunch of rusty nails. I think that would just fit the experience all the way to the end.
So is there a consensus on what has the best back seat? Now keep in mind, the winner receives a $300 eBay gift card and some car care products from the fine folks at Griot's Garage to keep their hoopty looking good. Is there a consensus on which has the best back seat?
Well,
there is.
We went back and forth on this for a little while, but it's very hard to not give this award to the taxi cab. There's, again, so much about this. I did a little research on this Surge giveaway back in '97, and I guess the Coca-Cola company bought up 40 of these cars and refurbished them within a period of 3 months. So you can imagine the quality of the refurbishment that went on during that 3 months. And they were given away as prizes, some of them through radio stations, some of them were just drawn from a hat. It's a ton of fun, but just something about it works. I think the fact that it's one of the best pictures of a backseat that anybody submitted, very practical. Also, Phoebe from Friends famously drove around in a 1977 Checker taxi cab. So, I mean, that counts too in this contest. I know that's very important to our criteria. So all of those things put together, I think, makes this a winner for us.
I think that's a fine choice. And what is the main feature of a taxi cab but the back seat? That's where you go. That's where you ride. So I think that's a worthy choice. Totally defensible in the Concours world.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we're debating on inviting it to the show, but I think I will probably lose that debate. I'll take it up though.
Okay,
it's worth bringing it up.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for participating in this. I'm sure this is going to be detrimental to your careers in some way, if not just for the shame of being involved. But thank you so much for putting in the time and effort to do this. And I think we've picked a very worthy contender for winning the best back seat for the Virtual Concours des Le Mans.